Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Claire's Circle. Today, we're diving into an incredibly personal and often controversial topic: childbirth and a woman's right to choose. What happens when your decision about how you want to experience labor clashes with pressure from the people closest to you? When support turns into a subtle attempt to impose someone else's ideology? This story comes from a subscriber named Emily. She's in the final weeks of her pregnancy and feels completely alone in her fight for the right to make decisions about her own body. Let's hear her story. Emily and her husband David are eagerly awaiting the birth of their first child. Emily describes herself as a pragmatic person. She likes to make informed decisions. So when it came to her birth plan, she began doing her research early. After reading countless books and articles, speaking with her doctor and friends, she came to a firm decision. She would get an epidural. She knows her pain threshold and wants her childbirth experience to be as calm and manageable as possible, not some endurance test. When she first told David, he was fully supportive. He said, "Of course, sweetheart, whatever makes you feel safe and comfortable. It's your body, your choice." Emily felt a wave of relief knowing her partner had her back. What she didn't know was that her real opposition would come from her mother-in-law. David's mother, Carol, was a hippie in her youth and is now a passionate believer in all things natural, holistic, and organic. She considers modern medicine toxic and views childbirth as a sacred right that women must experience the way nature intended without any intervention. At first, Carol's campaign was subtle. She started sending Emily articles about the hidden dangers of epidurals. She gifted her books with titles like Birth as Ecstasy and The Power of Hypnobirthing. In every conversation, she would wistfully reminisce about her own beautiful, empowering, totally natural birth experiences in the 80s. Emily politely thanked her and said she appreciated the concern, but her mind was made up. But as the due date drew closer, Carol's pressure ramped up. She began calling epidurals a weak woman's way out and poisoning the baby before it's even born. She told Emily she was giving up her feminine power. Eventually, Emily had to be firm. "Carol, I appreciate your opinion, but this is my decision. It's not up for discussion." The breaking point came when Carol changed tactics and started working on David. She pulled him aside and expressed concerns about the baby's health, about Emily robbing herself of a transformative experience. And David, who hates conflict with his mother, started to bend. He began saying things like, "Well, maybe we could at least try without the epidural first," or "My mom has a point about the side effects." Emily felt the ground shifting beneath her. Her strongest ally was drifting away. The confrontation happened last weekend. Emily and David were assembling the baby's crib in the nursery. Carol came over to help and once again brought up the birth plan. Emily, already on edge, said, "Carol, for the last time, I am getting an epidural. My decision is final." That's when Carol turned, not to her, but to David. She looked at him with disappointment and said, "David, are you really going to let your wife choose the easy way out and not even try? You should be the strong one here. Inspire her to be her best self." Emily looked at her husband, waiting for him to finally stand up for her. But instead, he looked at her with the same expression as his mother and said, "Sweetheart, maybe she's right. Maybe you're just scared. Don't you want to experience that powerful, natural moment they write about in all those books?" For Emily, it felt like betrayal. It wasn't just about Carol's pushy opinions anymore. It was about her own husband, her partner, taking his mother's side in a matter that directly affected her body, her pain, her health. She told me she felt something break inside. She pointed silently to the door and said to both of them, "Get out. Leave this room." And when they left, she turned to David and said the words that had been hanging in the air for days. If you can't fully support my decision, if you're going to stand by while your mother pressures me during the most vulnerable moment of my life, then I don't want you in the delivery room at all. I'll ask my sister or a doula instead, someone who will be my advocate, not another judge. David was stunned. He accused her of being irrational because of hormones. Carol is now telling relatives that Emily is having a meltdown. And so here Emily sits, just weeks from giving birth, in a beautifully decorated nursery, feeling completely abandoned by the one person whose support she needed the most. She ended her letter with a question I want to bring to all of you in Claire's circle. She asks, am I a jerk for threatening to ban my own husband from the delivery room unless he supports my decision to get an epidural? Or is my right to bodily autonomy and real support more important than his wish, or his mother's, for me to be stronger? Where is the line between support and pressure? What is the true role of a partner in the delivery room? Please share your thoughts in the comments. Emily needs to hear different perspectives right now. Thank you for being here.